Sean, man, thank you so much for joining us at Infamous Horrors. I've been a fan of yours maybe ever since I've been a kid watching the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, man. So this is kind of exciting to interview you. So you played a lot of different
Man, I
characters.
appreciate it. Thank you.
You played a lot of different characters over the years, like I said, the Young Indiana Jones, Powder, the Boondock Saints. So what was it about Nefarious that really grasped your attention when you read the script?
It's two people, Chuck and Carrie. I worked with them in 2004, and I thought at the time they were the best writers I'd ever worked with, and I think they're great directors. And they presented a script to me 15 years later, and I fell in love with it. It's one of the most perfectly crafted stories on a character basis and an overall story that I've ever read. And I don't get an opportunity to throw myself wholeheartedly into A-list projects like that. So there was never a question whether I would do it. As soon as they told me they had something I wanted to read, I knew I would do it. But I went ahead and read it, and then I knew, oh my God, I hope they don't change their mind. I hope they still will let me become this character. And gratefully, they did, and I'm grateful.
And right, and like any horror movies, there are multiple layers in Nefarious as well. It's also a character study as well. So, what was it about, reading the script and finding more about your character and knowing that you worked with these two before? What was some of the juiciest moments in the screenplay that you were just like, wow, this is going to be really good to chew on when I really get to say this out loud?
I'm not blowing smoke when I say every page presented a problem and an opportunity. Every single page. And I think if you see the film, you'll agree with me. There are no layup pages. This is I've had an opportunity to do 3 films like this in my life. And really, that your goal when you move away from home to become an actor is to get one of these scripts. This is the 3rd opportunity I've had to do a highlight real film, in my opinion. Something that even if nobody sees it, you'll be able to show your kids and go, Daddy did that. And there are no phone-in pages. This was an opportunity of a lifetime. I relish heavy lifting. It doesn't scare me whether I fall on my face or I stay standing. I'm willing to take up any challenge, and characters like this present a little larger problem than your normal character for
Right.
me at least, and I relish the opportunity.
And how was it like working with Jordan in this as well? Because you guys' chemistry in this really paired well.
One of my biggest concerns whenever I agreed to do the film is, okay, well, there's 2 people really. Who's going to be sitting on the other side of the table? And they found Jordan, and I got to tell you, it's man, I've had a career of I don't know how many films, but it's a lot, and I'm very grateful, and I haven't had to get a real job in a long time. But man, the amount of projects where all the variables come together correctly are few and far between. And he walked onto set. We went down to the business room in the hotel to rehearse. We didn't even rehearse. We just got to know each other. We talked about family and our family. He didn't have one yet. His wife gave birth the very next day to his son. And the first day on set, I had a conversation with him, and I knew that we were going to have to shoot 17 pages the first day.
Oh, wow.
And I knew I would have bet money that it was going to take us 3 days to do that, because he's not going to know his words. For whatever reason, after we sat down and got to know each other, I said, I bet this dude knows his stuff. Man, he showed up that first day, crushed it. He knew exactly every character choice he wanted to do. He was off book. He never missed a line. He was unwavering. I wouldn't want to do this movie with anyone else across the table than Jordan Belfi. He was exceptional on every level.
Wow, that's really high praise for Jordan as well, because he's also been in Entourage, and I watched that growing up as a kid too. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool that both of you are in this. And have you seen Nefarious yet? Have you seen the finished product?
I have. Yeah, I took the family. Well, the family, my boys didn't see it, but me and my wife and my boys, we went to Dallas for the world premiere. So it was a neat event to go and check out with the family.
So, what was your thoughts on the atmosphere that Terry and Corey got to create with the tension in the atmosphere for directing Nefarious? Because that was a hell of a ride watching that for 90 minutes.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I mean, Chuck and Carrie are exceptional writers and directors. Like, in my opinion, they didn't put a foot wrong. But I think the unheralded hero of this movie is the editor.
Yeah.
Look, me and Jordan and Chuck and Carrie can deliver the puzzle pieces, but to assemble them in such a way that keeps the viewer engaged for 120 minutes is beyond reason. And he pulled it off. The editor on this film knocked this out of the park. And I promise you, there are 100 ways this could be edited, 99 of which would allow it to fall on its face. And he found the one. This dude is a rock star of rock star caliber.
And what are you looking forward to the most of audiences getting out of Nefarious?
You know, I hope they're engaged. Like anything, like any movie, you know, I know my favorite movies. Some of my favorite parts of the movie are me driving home with my wife before we had kids, and we're talking about the movie. You know, what did you think about this? Oh my God, can you believe that scenario? What would you have done? What would you? I don't know either, man. You know what? They should have done this. I think that they should have made a character. You know, all of that. I hope it sticks in people's heads. My favorite films, I still think about sometimes once a month, even though I've seen it 20 years ago. It pops back into my head. There are moments in that story that punctuate my consciousness. What do I hope? I hope this film punctuates the collective consciousness. I hope it does.
And what were some of your favorite horror movies growing up, if you had any?
My favorite, well, the movie that scared me the most was 2001: A Space Odyssey. And it
Really?
was
Okay, that's an interesting choice.
Yes, when Hal and Dave had their confrontation, that scared me. Now, it's not a traditional horror movie,
Right, yeah.
but I would have to say the more cerebral fear. I don't really plug into the blood and guts, and I'm afraid by things that could possibly happen, like when a stranger calls. That scared the shit out of me because I've always been more afraid of like a home invasion than a
Right.
doll coming to life and getting the steak knives out and chasing me around the room. So things like that, you know, Exorcist, Damien, The Omen, all of that stuff. It has an air of creepy that's unparalleled.
It's funny that you brought up When a Stranger Calls, because that was my mom's first and final horror movie she watched.
Is that right?
Yeah. See, it's
I
like,
saw that. I was young when I saw that, man, and it freaked me out.
well, Sean, do you have any upcoming projects you can tell us about, if you're allowed to at the moment?
You know what? Right now, I'm just being a dad. It's the culmination of wrestling season for my boys, and in 2 weeks, swim team season starts. So me and the wife are just doing the family thing, man. That's it, and we're excited for this to come to theaters, opening on Friday because it's not. You know, I don't have movies that come to theaters very often, so we're gonna drive by and see if people actually go in, and that'll be
Right.
neat Friday night to see if people go to the theater. It'll be neat. You know, it's neat for us.
All right, Sean, thank you so much for joining us at Infamous Horrors. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you on.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.